All right, so how's everybody doing? Welcome to another Two Birds and a Third football podcast. We got not DJ. We got Josh and we got Ricky and myself, Hank. We don't have DJ. He could not be here. Ricky, what are we talking about? What are we talking about today?
So we're talking about some football and some playoff football. So we're gonna recap the games. We're gonna talk about some of the coaches that like the head coaching carousel that's been going on. Also, we're gonna be talking about our playoff can't speak. Our playoff favorite moments. Whatever, you know what I mean. I can't speak right now.
And then we're gonna do our picks, right?
And then we'll do picks. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So, should we do the Eagles game first? Because that game happened first?
Let's do the Pats game first because that one was the most lackluster.
Yeah. I didn't watch. That was the one game that I didn't watch barely any of it. I got to see what's his name? Number 84, the receiver that they
Corey
drafted.
Davis.
Yeah, I got to see Corey Davis score a touchdown, which I had.
He scored two.
He scored two. Okay, but
he scored one later in the game in garbage time.
Oh, okay. I drafted him in fantasy football, hoping he would do something for me, but he didn't actually score a touchdown for me. So thanks, man.
Well, he did score a touchdown just 19 weeks into the season.
Yeah, exactly. Not when he was on my team.
I mean, it shows he has potential. Well, it showed what he can do.
Yeah, that's true. I think that when I looked at this, the Titans seem like the least possible team of all 8 of the teams, they seem like the team that had the least possible chance, to me at least, to win this game.
Their odds. They had the longest odds in their favor. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was tough. I mean, I watched it with Wes, Hank, and it was a little bit rough. I mean,
yeah.
And
they started off the game well. They drove down the field, 75 yards, scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
But they kept a spy on Mariota, and that kept him in the pocket. Mm-hmm. They got way more sacks than I was expecting them to get on Marcus Mariota. I felt like he was either getting sacked or knocked down a lot of that game. So, you got to give your hats off to the Patriots defense, Matt Patricia, for doing that. But I don't think the Patriots are unbeatable, Ricky. You seem to have this idea that just it doesn't matter who they play against. The Patriots
I'm telling you, man, they have the easiest road to the Super Bowl in the last couple years.
Besides Jacksonville.
Dude, Jacksonville, okay, and, kind of moving on, but kind of the same point. People are like, oh, they're going to be able – Ben Roethlisberger carved up Jacksonville. Not really. I mean, Jacksonville was up 21 points in that game. I'm sure they loosened up a little bit. And whenever they needed to step on the throats of the Steelers, they did.
Yeah.
What was it? 3 of their touchdowns came on 4th down too, right? The Steelers?
Yeah, exactly. And those 2 passes, one of them or both of them were perfect passes, which means that, you couldn't have been in any better coverage. But it's not like the Steelers picked them apart because the Jaguars were blowing their coverage the entire game. I mean, they looked good. Their defense looked good aside. And if they don't get that Martavius Bryant dime or that Antonio Brown one, that's take off 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. And all of a sudden this game is not looking anywhere close. And I don't think the Patriots have that kind of firepower on their offense. They don't have those down the field threats like Antonio or Martavius Bryant.
Got Brandon Cooks.
They got Cooks.
They have one, but
they have Cooks, but they also have Gronk, who is probably the. I think now in the playoffs, he's the biggest threat.
He's not going to run a streak and outrun a defender. He's not going to outrun somebody. He'll go up and get the ball, but he's not going to just fly past somebody.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the Patriots are unbeatable. I just think that Jacksonville is going to have to play their asses off in order to win. I still think that well, we'll get to the picks then, but
Mhm.
I heard that there were a lot of questionable calls in this game too.
In
Like,
in what
In
what
the
game?
Titans game, like for instance, I heard that there was a call that was made where it was like a false start on the Patriots, and they looked up at the jumbotron and they called it on the Titans instead. They like changed their call or something like that.
And that gave them the ability to drive down the field and score. I think that was the one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just heard a lot of people complaining about that game on Twitter, so I just assumed.
It's Twitter. What do you expect?
Twitter. So we want to go to the Eagles Falcons game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before.
Yo, go ahead, Ricky. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm getting kind of and I look. Good job, Eagles. You did what you had to do. But I don't know what's with people coming at me like, oh, you doubted us, and I'm not trying to like. And this is in real life. I'm not talking on the internet. I'm like, I wasn't surprised Philly won the game. They did exactly what I said they had to do: run the ball, play keep away, and be stingy on defense. And they did all three of those things, and they won.
Except they turned the ball over twice too.
But that too. But I mean,
not by the fault of Nick Foles.
Yeah. Well, Nick Foles almost turned it over once, and it bounced off of Keanu Neal's leg, and it was caught by Torrey Smith. The only
Hey, guess what? Almost is only good in horseshoes and hand grenades.
That's true.
So, I mean, how many almost picks do we see in every game? So, whatever. I mean, it didn't get picked. He didn't have any turnovers. But the Eagles played the way they needed to play to win that game.
Yeah. I figured the Eagles would win this game. It's not that the disrespect, honestly. It's more of the disrespect against in this game that I mean, I don't care if like teams doubt the Eagles or the experts doubt the Eagles. To me, it's if people are doubting you, then you haven't earned their respect yet. Respect isn't given, it's earned, and obviously you need to earn more respect. But I just found it kind of ridiculous that you have Atlanta, who beat a really good team, the Rams, the week before. And the Rams, were a good team, but they weren't they weren't like a super team or anything like that. They had some key wins, but they weren't weren't, to me, I thought they were still beatable. And they give the Falcons, the Vegas gives the Falcons 2 points over the Eagles, and the Eagles win by 5. They probably should have honestly won by 12 or 15. But now you have them against the Vikings, and they're 3-point underdogs. And I'm like, dude, the Vikings are way better than the Falcons, and you're only giving them 3 points over the Eagles. Way
here's
to
my
stay
thing,
consistent.
Right? People need to, and I said this, right? If the Eagles go out on Sunday and they play like that versus the Vikings, they're gonna lose. And I'm not saying they will lose, but I will say that if they do the repeat performance, they will not look good. I mean, it's just
Foles has to get the ball into the end zone is what he needs to do.
Yeah, I mean, just because Carson Wentz went down doesn't mean that all of a sudden Alshon Jeffrey and Nelson Aguilar and Torrey Smith don't know how to be wide receivers. I think you can lean on your run game a little bit, and the fact that you guys have a really strong defense. But you're right; he's going to need to push balls into the end zone.
Yeah, you cannot win you can't win by death by field goals.
Yeah, especially against the Vikings, who were able to put up a lot of points against the Saints, and I guess we'll kind of interlude into that game because that was probably the most exciting game because the Vikings, they have they were up 17-0. It seemed like Drew Brees and the Saints had met their match again, and they could not do anything at all.
Especially they look so lackadaisical on offense and
they were turning the ball over in the red zone. Then on second half they turned it on, and they were up by at the last drive they swapped field goals, and the Saints were winning 24-23, and then something like that, and then that happened. 4th and 10 at their own 35-yard line or 40-yard line, and the Saints let Stephon Diggs go down the sidelines, and he caught Keenum threw a beautiful pass to him on a jump. The Saints defender, I think his last name was Williams, missed the tackle, and
Marcus Williams,
the rookie 5 interception guy, ran the ball 40, 60 yards down the field for a touchdown, and probably like the craziest ending to a playoff game I think I've ever seen.
I think it was just more so how it happened, like because like I believe the score was 24-23. There was 10 seconds left on the clock.
No, I think,
and they were like 30 yards away from field goal range.
Yeah. I mean, even 30 yards away from, like, that's like the cusp of, that's like the outside part of field goal range.
Yeah, exactly. So it wasn't a given. But I will say this. I think Minnesota showed why you don't want to play the Saints with Drew Brees, because clearly because like even if you're beating him by like over 3 scores, he could still come back and beat you. But clearly, and this is what's crazy. It wasn't Drew Brees that let down the Saints. It was the defense that let him down. The fact that the defense literally laid down, allowed the Vikings to get up early, made Drew Brees play comeback. Yeah. Which he does amazingly, but like again, also the Saints should have tried to milk the clock as much as possible, which again you try to do, and have that field goal be the game winner.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think that, and Josh will probably agree with me here. I don't know if he will, but like, if you're like a Madden player, yeah, you try to milk that clock as much as you. I mean, a smart Madden player will try to milk that clock as much as possible. But in the NFL, when scoring is something that you have to really work for, if you can get a score, then that's better. I
didn't have a problem when they scored. It's just, I didn't have a problem with them scoring. I just think that the nature of when I forget how the drive played out. That I'll have to remember.
In hindsight, you can always say that in hindsight, but when in the game, you just want to get points. You trust your defense more than you trust your defense to make a stop in the fourth quarter. So I don't really blame the Saints that much for scoring. I mean,
you can't blame the Saints. I mean, and all the people giving that safety a hard time. It's like, you know what, guys? Yeah. Like he made one mistake, but he also had an interception earlier in the game.
That set up
to put them in the game.
Yeah, exactly. I think people need to understand that, look, the Saints put themselves in a position to win the game. It was just, I can't even describe what the frig happened. I don't even, this was just one of those once in a generation plays that happened.
Probably it's honestly once in a lifetime play. You could probably compare it to the Immaculate Reception, but there's no clear-cut evidence that the ball didn't touch the ground, and the fact that if a Steelers player touched the ball before Franco Harris touched the ball, then the play would have been illegal at that time. So
this was the equivalency of the Hail Mary, remember, between the Cowboys and the
Vikings.
The Vikings, yeah, this was pretty much their Hail Mary.
Well, but the fact that the Cowboys or the Vikings defensive back had pretty good coverage on that play.
The point is the play's magnitude.
This one, it should have been he should have been forced out immediately. Or he should have been tackled immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Do we have anything else to say about these games?
Got the Steelers
maybe we can discuss the fact that Mike Tomlin refused to wipe that drop of spit from the bottom of his beard for a whole half.
Oh my God, that was so annoying. The entire freaking fourth quarter, basically.
That's why they lost.
They lost because he made one of the worstest. most worstest decisions you could ever make. Hank
and I
they
were
were
really mad at
down.
him.
What they were down. The score was what 35-38, right?
Mhm.
And the Steelers had just scored a touchdown. There was about what was there like a minute left or something, and they had 2 timeouts, right? There was a minute left. They had 2 timeouts, maybe a minute 30 seconds, and instead of long kicking it so that you can set your offense up with good field position if you know if you make a stop, he onside kicks it. It was a horrible onside kick.
Oh my God! It didn't even go 10 yards.
It went 5 yards, and the Jaguars got the ball at the 35-yard line. So,
because I think that because if you look at the score, think about it. Because if they get the ball back, this is a tie game. But then again, it's like if you look, I don't know what happened with the Steelers' defense. I mean,
yeah, I guess he felt like he couldn't trust their defense. That's my only thought process. He felt like he couldn't trust the defense to make a stop.
The Steelers defense has collapsed in big games that they need to be in. I mean, they did it earlier this year against Jacksonville. They also did it against the Baltimore Ravens. They let them score like 38 points as well. They let the Ravens score 38 points on them earlier this season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've just collapsed in times where they really needed to step up. And once again, I think Jacksonville was built to take down the Steelers. They eliminated them in all the facets of the game that make the Steelers good.
And I mean, Jacksonville played their game plan: just run the ball, don't play mistake-free football, which they did. And I mean, Blake Bortles, I know people gave him a tough time for not being a really good quarterback, but hey, he did what he had to do. He played mistake-free football, and that's the thing. Like, he's not required to do a lot. All he has to do is get it to the receiver, hand it off, and just don't turn the ball over, and they got it.
He's kind of turned into Blake Vick.
Oof.
Did you call him Blake Vick?
Yeah, because he's run for the most yards of any quarterback in the postseason.
Has he?
I think he has almost 100 rushing yards in the postseason.
God.
Oh my God, he's the GOAT.
But I do think that he didn't play mistake-free football, and it's the fact that these players on other teams are discounting him. It's just adding fuel to his fire. I will say, Blake Bortles is, not a great quarterback, but he's okay. He's good enough to get the job done.
Yeah, exactly. He's turned into that, yeah. I mean...
All right, so
exactly. He's just good enough to get the job done. But he got the job done, and good for him. I'm excited. I'm excited for this championship weekend. This should be a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah. All right, so do you guys want to talk about the head coaching move, or I guess you could say the 3 main head coaching candidates right now being Matt Patricia, Josh McDaniels, and Pat Shurmur. And I think in the last week alone, ESPN has reported that the Giants were going to sign all 3 of them.
I know, and they didn't sign any of them.
No, I think
that's the ultimate tease.
I think they'll get Pat Shurmur, and to be honest, people who say all these other guys are really. I don't understand why people are fawning over Patricia or McDaniels. I like Pat Shurmur.
I think that Kyle Shanahan definitely deserved that praise. Last year, I know people were talking a lot about him.
Pat Shurmur, I feel like, is the best head coaching candidate out there right now.
Most what you're getting. The most okay, I get what I'm getting from.
Yeah.
As for McDaniels and Patricia, I don't know how Patricia would function. McDaniels, we know how he was in Denver. I don't know if he's grown off that or he's still going to be the same dude. So Indy, best of luck.
Yeah,
considering you're taking our linebacker coach.
I think what they're saying is McDaniels is going to go to Indy, Patricia is going to go to Detroit, and Marvin Lewis is going to stay in Cincinnati.
Yeah, He's gonna sign
We
a
already know
5-year.
that. Hank. He already signed his extension. But
And then
Now, can we just?
Mike Mularkey and the Titans parted ways with each other.
yeah, and he's not going to sign with the Cardinals. He's not going to take the Cardinals head coaching position.
Just so you know, I want to bring this up. People ask why he got fired, even though they said they were staying. He got fired because he wasn't going to make any changes to any of the coaching staff. When he said that in a press conference, that's what led to his firing. A lot of people say like they just
parting
But-
ways. I honestly I feel bad for Mariota because this is his third head coach in 3 seasons.
it's horrible.
Yeah, I think that I think Mularkey. I mean, if you were to look back at it, and if Ricky's correct, I think that the Titans needed a better offensive coach. Or an offensive coordinator.
I think you do need an offensive coach, especially when you have Marcus Mariota, Derrick Henry, Corey Davis. I mean, when you have guys like that and you're not putting up points, you need something to change. And if he's not going to change the offensive scheme, if he's not going to change the offensive coordinator, then yeah, I think you guys just need to go your separate ways. If he's stuck in saying, well, we're just going to run DeMarco Murray and Derrick Henry, and then Marcus Mariota is going to throw on third down if we have to.
I think the funniest thing is the fact that, he had a winning record. I believe I think Mularkey had a winning record as the Titans head coach, or close to a winning record. And what's his name? Hugh Jackson is 1-31, and he gets to keep his job.
Oh my God. Anywho,
but I've also heard that Arizona is attempting to sign 2 possible guys. Mike Munchlack of the
Mike Munchak. He used to be the Titan. They just like interviewing Titans ex-coaches.
The Cardinals were trying to hire him, but he declined.
Just get Jeff Fisher.
Just get Jeff Fisher for 4 years, have like 7-9 records, and then sign an offensive genius, and you look amazing.
Then fire him, and then you'll all of a sudden become the best team, one of the better teams in your conference.
Yeah.
I want to bring something up because this is something that has kind of ticked me off. Yeah, I understand the Steelers fan. I mean, half my freaking family is a bunch of Steelers fans. All I want to say is that, and he's not calling for Tomlin's head. There are some people out there saying that Tomlin's the most overrated coach in history. There are some people saying that he needs to get fired. Whoever's saying that needs to just stop, because, it's funny they mention this because Mike Tomlin has had 8 winning seasons that had double-digit wins, right? Not only that, he's arguably, I'm just saying, arguably, a top 5 head coach in the NFL when you look at his,
He's also a top 5 cheater.
Yeah, he is a cheerleader.
I have seen him stick his foot out onto the field to play.
My thing is what people need to realize is that I don't know, here's my thing. When someone says, I want this dude gone, who do you want in place of him? Like me personally, if you're going to fire Jason Garrett, you want to bring in someone like, for example, I wanted Josh McDaniels or someone like, like someone that is available that isn't out of, it's nothing ridiculous.
I'll say this. Thank God Jimmy Garoppolo, thank God Jimmy Garoppolo is on the 49ers right now. Because that if Josh McDaniels had tried to get a head coaching job somewhere and the Patriots put him somewhere else, that the guy who was supposed to be the quarterback would probably get traded somewhere else.
I think that's probably why they traded. Another reason why they probably traded him.
So he'll go to the Colts and he'll be Andrew Luck's head coach.
Which good for Andrew Luck in all seriousness.
Hopefully Andrew Luck is healthy. The thing about, when I first met Josh, we would go to the bar all the time, and I think we watched one game, or we went to we would go to a bar every Sunday, and we watched this one game between the Colts and the Ravens, and the Colts won. And like, honestly, like, I think Josh and I were like, yeah, Andrew Luck gets all the calls. I think we just like submitted to the fact that Andrew Luck gets all the calls. But that was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I hope we get to see Andrew Luck back on the field next season. I mean,
listen, I want to see, for those that don't know, I am a huge Penn State fan, and I want to see Saquon pair up with Luck. I really want to see that. I think that'd be something special.
That'd be good, but they don't have anyone at offensive line though.
Shut up. Saquon. They said that about Jacksonville, and look what they did.
Yeah, but Jacksonville picked up offensive linemen.
Shut up, Hank.
Yeah, they did draft him.
Stop.
And there's a big difference between Leonard Fournette and Saquon Barkley in the sense that Leonard Fournette is just a downhill runner. Like, he's the guy who can pick you up like the tough yards.
Stop it.
But Barkley is a little bit more nimble. Just a little bit more nimble.
He reminds me a lot of he looks like a mix of Bell and McCoy, more so McCoy.
Yeah.
That's what he reminds me of. Anywho,
playoff memories?
Yeah.
You want to go to playoff memories?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Ricky, you better not no, I'm just kidding.
What?
More bad memories.
Like, I think it should be also, you can't do a memory that you weren't alive for.
Okay.
No, I wasn't planning on doing that either, so don't.
Well, I'm just saying, you can't be like, I can't be like, the immaculate reception, like.
Yeah, Hank is gonna be like, I remember back in 1960 when we won our world championship.
I guess the two memories, or the three memories that come out at me, the first one, obviously 4th and 26. I think everyone remembers, or most people remember that game against the Packers in the divisional round of the playoffs, where the Eagles, they were down 14-0 against Favre and the Packers. They came back. The score was 17-14. There was like a minute 28 seconds left in the game. The Eagles had no timeouts remaining. It was 4th and 26. McNabb takes the snap out of like the single back formation under center because we didn't do shotgun back then for some really dumb reason. And McNabb throws a dime pass to Freddie Mitchell, tackled by Darren Sharper. Boom, boom, boom. All three guys have been in prison. And the Eagles ended up kicking a field goal, tying the game, went into overtime. Favre threw an interception, and the Eagles kicked a field goal to win the game. That's the first one. The second one was when the Eagles went to the Super Bowl after beating the Falcons. They took the monkey off their backs. And then my third memory happened in a loss. I attended the Eagles-Cardinals NFC Championship game. And when the Eagles, McNabb threw a pass to Deshaun Jackson for a touchdown. The Eagles went up 25-24, and the whole place went, like, there were like half Eagles fans there. It went crazy. It was a great memory for about 6 minutes as the Cardinals went down the field to score the game-winning touchdown, and they eventually won the game. So that's not a great memory, but like, it was good because I happened to be there,
Yeah. Well, I'm going to sprinkle in a not so good memory as well when I do mine. But those are three good ones, Hank.
Yeah.
Mine aren't all about my team. Mine are just amazing football memories. I'm going to take a page from DJ's book here, and I'm going to go do a positive sandwich. So I'm going to start with a good one, go the bad one in the middle, and then end with a good one. The first good one is I remember, and this was back when the Raiders went to the Super Bowl, is I remember them just I'm mixing up my one. Sorry about that. The first one I wanted to do was definitely the Mile High Miracle, because that one was just oh my goodness. When you're talking about going against Peyton Manning and those Denver Broncos that year,
They were amazing.
and Jacoby Jones streaking down the field, and we needed a miracle, and we got the miracle. So
wasn't that to go to overtime?
That was to go to overtime, but it wasn't a game winner, but it definitely kept us in the game.
Yeah.
You know, like that. We needed that to even stay in the game. So
Yeah. Of course.
That would be my first kind of amazing playoff one. And then the other one, the bad one, oh God, this still pains me to even think about, is the Tom Brady tuck rule.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Oh my God. I remember watching Charles Woodson get the strip sack and just going like, we won. We won. We beat them. There's no way they can come back on us. And lo and behold, somebody calls Bob Kraft and Satan at the same time, puts Tom Brady in the group call and says, all right, guys, we're going to sell it to you, our souls. And then that's where the tuck rule came from. So that's
not necessarily where the tuck rule had occurred earlier.
Hank, I know.
I'm sorry, I'm very, very precise human being.
A rule. I know it was a rule in the book, but when have they ever pulled out the tuck rule in any other NFL game before that?
I think Jim Harbaugh was yeah. And earlier that season, Vinny Testaverde was.
Hank, when did Jim Harbaugh play?
Jim Harbaugh didn't he play from like 1987 to like 1999?
Yeah, it was like something like that.
I think he played for the Colts, but it happened against the Patriots earlier that season. The Patriots,
ironically,
Vinny Testaverde was the quarterback that used the tuck rule. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But go on.
Irregardless, you can't sit with us. And then the other most defining moment would have to be, well, it's not really a playoff moment. And
you got to say when your team won the Super Bowl, though.
Did we lose?
Oh.
Josh, are you there?
You guys, I thought I just got like completely cut out.
Oh, no.
So my last one would be, hey diddle diddle, Ray Rice up the middle. It was a 4th and 20 something, just like you guys, Hank. And somehow Ray Rice finds a crease up 30 yards up the middle to keep the game alive and help us go on to win the game.
Against the Chargers, right?
Mm-hmm. Which is always an extra bonus because you know how much I hate Phillip Rivers.
How come you didn't do any of the Ravens Super Bowls? Maybe
because I was thinking more of like clutch moments. Like
what about the moment at the end of that last Super Bowl where the Ravens
John Harbaugh told the punter to just run around and take the safety in the end zone?
No, where before that, when the 49ers were stopped on 4 consecutive downs.
I mean, that was good, but I don't know. That game didn't have the exact same feel with the whole power going out and everything like that. I don't know. It didn't have the same feeling as like, you know, you really, really need it. I mean, yeah, we got our stops and everything, but that game was so out of whack and like, I don't know. I just wasn't even thinking about the end of that game until we won.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Plus, It wasn't like they got 4 stops, but it wasn't like somebody came up with some miraculous like interception or, you know, batted the ball away at the last second. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, Ricky, let's hear yours.
What are yours?
Okay, so it's kind of weird because the only one that I can do for the Cowboys would probably be the 2014 playoff game where they came back and beat the Lions, because the Cowboys have made the playoffs 5 times. Well, actually, technically 6 in my lifetime, but 5 that I've actually seen. And they only won twice. And the one was a blowout against the Eagles. The other one was the comeback. So I mean, like, that was a good one. But it's against the Lions, no less. So, but I mean, for my team, I mean, it's kind of just weird because I think, well, one memorable moment, I guess you could say, it's not favorite one. I know it's a loss, but still, the divisional playoff game versus the Packers, because it's kind of just still in my mind still, because it's like, oh man, we could have possibly won that game, but
yeah.
Outside of that, just
obviously
looking
don't
at
wanna-
other sports teams.
You don't want to discuss the game that happened after that, right? That game didn't happen.
Which one?
The
championship game?
The Packers won.
Oh yeah. But anywho, the other Packers one. Actually, that is a memorable moment, mainly due to the fact that the nature of us coming back and nearly beating them. But let me get to more enlightening ones that I've actually had the joy of seeing. I believe it was the 2006 championship game, AFC championship game, when Manning came back and beat Brady.
Yeah.
Remember, I watched that whole thing.
Yeah.
I was watching Super Bowl. It was the Super Bowl against the Steelers and the Cardinals. I remember watching that with my dad and him freaking out at that because he is a Steelers fan. So I watched that one.
James Harrison running down the field and
the Holmes.
Santonio Holmes, yeah.
Yeah, and then I think one more. It would probably be this one. I mean, you could be like, oh, what about Super Bowl 51? I mean,
the Malcolm Butler reception.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, that's kind of funny because I actually said that Russell Wilson was going to lose the game off of the Seahawks were going to lose off of a Russell Wilson interception. So, yeah. I mean, not a lot of team, because considering the fact that they've only been to the playoffs 5 times in my 6 in my lifetime, and they've only won twice, and they haven't gotten to the Final Four. I mean,
it's rough. I mean, some of the best. I mean, I know Josh doesn't like Phillip Rivers, but Phillip Rivers is still pretty good.
I don't like Phillip Rivers. I have respect for him though as a quarterback.
But he's never. He's never been to a Super Bowl. He's never been to a Super Bowl. So he's only been to one AFC Championship game.
Yeah, and didn't he play with like a torn ACL, lose to Tom Brady?
Yeah. I mean, imagine if he was healthy.
I mean, some of the best still have never been there. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, I mean, there's so many great quarterbacks that have never even been to a Super Bowl. It's a tough thing. It's not easy.
Yeah, because you have to be one. You have to be one of 16, or one of 8. First, you have to be one of 16. Then you have to be one of 8, and then you have to be one of 32. I mean, it's really tough to be the best team out of 32 other teams.
Right.
So,
yeah. Do you guys want to discuss the picks for the game?
Yeah. You guys want to get into picks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it.
So, what do you guys? Let's start off with the first game. Both games are on Sunday, for those that are wondering. It's the 3:05 game, Eastern Standard Time. It's Jacksonville heading to New England. This is going to be a fun. I hope it's a competitive game. Me personally, I don't think it is, but
Ricky, oh my gosh, I swear you don't even sound like a Cowboys fan. You sound like a Patriots fan.
Like, I'm doing it for a reason.
Always do. They're always like, "Oh, dude, no one can beat us."
Josh, he's using RP.
Oh my gosh, that doesn't even make sense.
Look, let me look at this honestly. Jacksonville, I'm not writing them off completely because they have the formula to beat New England. There is just one problem. New England does one thing well, they have a couple things. Well, I don't want to use the refs because that's a completely different thing.
The Patriots don't usually lose at home. They don't
Yeah,
usually. I think
Unless it's the Ravens.
unless it's the Ravens or the Jets once. They haven't. They've been to like every AFC Championship game since 2000 or 2011. They've only lost what 3 home playoff. Brady's only lost 3 home playoff games, and they've only lost or no, yeah, 3 no 4 no 3 yeah 3 home playoff games, and 2 of them were to Joe Flacco and the Ravens, and 1 of them was to Mark Sanchez. So they don't usually lose that game. It's really hard to beat them. I think Tom Brady has more wins in the playoffs over the last few years than the Browns have had in the last 10 years. So like give credit where what's your prediction, Ricky?
Just give me 1 second. I just gotta pull up something real quick. Hold up. Where I just had it. God dang it. Okay, where is it? There it is. So to kind of raise the stakes a bit to get better to predictions, right? I decided to basically this is what's going to happen based on the records. We're going to raise the stakes. So if you get the correct pick, you get a win. However, if you get the closest score, you get
+2. Or +1.
Yeah.
+1.
No. I'm increasing that. Now it's going
+2.
+2.
Okay. So I think we have I think Josh is in the lead, right?
Yeah. So for those that are wondering, so basically how it works is that there's tiebreakers and whatnot. So Josh is 8-2, Hank is 7-2, I'm 7-4, and DJ is 4-4. So what I'm hoping for is those two to lose, and
it has more to do with winning percentage than it has to do with actual wins. So like
exactly.
if Ricky gets if he gets 9-3 or 9-4, and Josh gets or something like that. It's whoever has the better percentage.
Yeah, and then you might be asking what happens if someone has the same record. Then it comes down to how many correct scores they've made throughout the playoffs. Plain and simple.
All right. So what's your prediction, Ricky?
I'm going 28-18 New England.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Jacksonville's magic stops here. They ain't going any further.
28-18. I can't get on board with that. I don't think the Patriots are going to be able to put up 28. I know it's Tom Brady, and I know everyone's like, this is what Tom Brady does. He just wins playoff games, but anyone can lose any given Sunday, guys. Exactly. I bet every week that the Ravens won the Super Bowl. I bet every week that the Cardinals were on their way to playing against the Steelers. Everyone was like, yeah, their run will stop here. But hey, you never know. So I'm going to go with the Jaguars on this. I think that team's young. I think that team has everything it needs to beat the Patriots. And I am going to pick the score of 28-21. Jaguars.
I'm going to go the safe route, because that's basically what I've been doing all season, going the safe route on this game. I'm gonna pick the Patriots to win 24-19.
Interesting. Oh, hold up, give me a sec. Wrote the wrong scores in the wrong brackets. So just give me a sec.
I think that it's gonna be real friggin' close. What
did you say your score was, Josh? Sorry.
28-21.
But I also think that some funny business is going to go on to help the Patriots win,
I'm just going to say this right now. I hope to God it's a good game. I'm not hoping for a blowout. just so you know, and I swear to God, if there are any refs that ruin this game, I can single-handedly say that the refs helped New England get to the Super Bowl. I mean, this is just ridiculous.
Because you
I
know
hope-
the refs probably aren't going to help the Jaguars.
And I'm being dead serious. Like, if it's a close game and Jacksonville has a chance to win and they get screwed over by calls, I'm gonna be livid.
Yeah.
Anywho, let's go on to There's only two. The game of the week. No, because I should have said the game of the week was the first one, just as a joke. But both these teams have a very good story. They both have quarterbacks that have escaped the jaws of Jeff Fisher. And they're playing in an NFC Championship game. Minnesota, Philadelphia Eagles in Philly. I can't wait for this game.
Yeah.
This is going to be a good
Me
one.
too. I might piss the bed before the day starts, so...
Just sleep
Hank,
with
where are you
your
watching
body fill.
I think I'm watching it here. DJ told me about what's going on, but I think I'm gonna watch it here.
Dude, you don't want to come meet 95.7 The Game?
I mean, I do. It's just I want to watch it in the same place that I did last week for my own
Okay.
reasons.
Anywho,
Wait, you watched it at my place last week.
No, I didn't. I watched.
Oh,
it.
no, Eagles game. You watched Sunday's game with me. You're right.
Yeah. So. Should I begin with this one? I guess.
No, let's let you finish, Hank, because it's your team playing. So I'm gonna go, Hank. I love your Eagles. I'm going Vikings.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I've actually rooted for Hank's Eagles like all season, but I've really liked the Vikings since early in the year. I think I've picked them to win a ton of times. And I think that team's complete. I know you have Case Keenum, but Case Keenum's playing the best ball Case Keenum's played his career. So
yeah,
he's hot when he needs to be. And I think that's all that matters. And I'm going to go with the Vikings. I think it's going to be a close game, though. I think it's going to be like 18 to 22.
Yeah.
Okay. As for me, me personally, I have it being a little bit more of a low-scoring game, actually. This is my thing. Both these teams match up so well with one another. It's literally a 50-50 coin toss. Would I be surprised if either team won the way they would win? No. Mainly due to the fact that both these teams are pretty much similar. Tough defenses, good running games, backup QBs. Well,
They're starters now.
Well, yeah, not the starters. But the point being is that, this is a very good matchup. Don't be surprised if either team wins. I mean,
there can only be.
All I'm gonna say is
there can only be one though.
Let me just say this: based on my pick, whoever wins this game is just gonna be a New England gods, because they're gonna freaking destroy whoever comes out of this. No, I'm kidding. I'm just doing this just to jinx New England. But I'm going with a score of 17-14, Minnesota taking it. It is going to be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes into overtime. So yeah, Skol Vikings. And before
Skol Vikings.
But
what is
Josh?
skull,
What was your score?
Can somebody tell me what that skull means?
It means salute, or it's like
a Norse thing.
It's yeah. So what did you say? It was 22-18 Minnesota, right?
Yeah, I said 22-18 Minnesota.
All right, I just want to write that down. Alrighty.
There could be a blocked extra point or field goal or something.
Could you imagine if that's how one of these teams wins? That would be insane.
I said, like I said before the playoffs even started, I said the Eagles would win a playoff game and they would be competitive during any other playoff game they played in. My dog is currently humping my arm. So anyway, I said that any game that they played in the playoffs, they'd be competitive. I feel like, I just got to go off of last week and say that both of these teams are really good, and whoever makes it there, whoever wins deserves to win. I gotta go with my Eagles. You know what I'm saying?
You have to.
I have to.
I just think that the Eagles are too good right now, man.
I have to go with the Eagles. I mean, either of these two teams could win. They're very evenly matched. I say screw what they're saying in Vegas. It's going to be a whole different beast. I think that both of these teams' fan bases should be confident as they are. And I think I'm going to go with a final score of 20 to 17 Eagles.
Okay.
But understand that, both of these teams are very, very, very evenly matched, and the Vikings, the Eagles are one of the best home defenses. The Vikings aren't as good at defense at away, but it doesn't really matter because all that stuff that happened during the season, you can just crumple it up and throw it out.
I will say that the way Minnesota won last week could definitely surround.
It could end up
motivation.
It could end up biting them in the ass because
or that too.
Because I have viewed my team do something like that. The Miracle at the Meadowlands where Deshaun Jackson ran the Eagles came back
with the punt.
Down
that
30.
Punt, hey, that was such a good play.
Yeah, 30. They were down 31-10. They came back. It was 31-31. Matt Dodge punts the ball to Deshaun Jackson, runs it for the touchdown, and then the Eagles were so high on themselves, and for the last 2 weeks of the season, they fell apart, and they fell apart in the playoffs. So, I'm actually hoping that that's the case, but I don't know. The Mike Zimmer has coached up his Minnesota Vikings 100 times better than Andy Reid coached that team up. So, you just never know. I hope the Eagles win. I'm picking them to win. I'm confident that they can play a competitive game. I'm confident they'll stay in it. Of course, you can't turn the ball over. You can't lose the ball on fumbles, and Nick Foles needs to get the ball into the end zone. Definitely. He needs we can't have a game where you're kicking field goals. You got to score touchdowns.
Exactly.
Against Minnesota.
I know I just picked the Vikings to win, but I will say that I would not have a problem with your Eagles winning, and I would love to see your Eagles win.
No, I wouldn't mind whoever. In all seriousness, though, I do not care who wins.
Yeah, it's
at all.
Of course, I care, but in the end, if the Eagles lose, I'll still be proud of them this season because they basically won 14 games, and they won their last 4 or 3 or 4 with bald tires, no rear view mirror, freaking low oil, no steering wheel, so I'm still content with my team no matter what happens this weekend because the national media, most people aren't giving the Eagles a shot. And I'm not saying that I'm mad at you guys. I actually like the underdog role, and especially
you're filled with rage.
And it's especially the underdog role at home. I like that.
I'm totally giving your team a 100% shot.
No. I know. I'm not
shot.
Talking about you guys. I'm talking about members of the media. And even so, even if you didn't give my team a shot, I still wouldn't mind because I love the underdog role. The Eagles have lived off the underdog role all season. And, hopefully they're able to pull it out.
And then lose in the Super Bowl to New England.
So do we have anything we want to end on?
Yeah, I just want to congratulate the New England Patriots on winning Super Bowl 52 and reaching their sixth Lombardi Trophy.
I swear to God, I'm never going to do another show with you if you talk about the Patriots winning the Super Bowl again. I know you're trying to do this reverse whatever flow of universe. I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
I'm joking. I'm joking. God, you guys got serious for a second. Holy.
I always get serious.
I just laughed. I just laughed.
No, but seriously, stop talking about the Patriots going to the Super Bowl.
But it's you gotta accept it. You're just in denial.
I'm in denial because anybody can beat anybody on any given Sunday.
Yeah, that's what they always say.
Do I need to play it, guys? Yeah.
Hank, you can't play copyrighted music. You're gonna get this video banned from YouTube, genius.
You're not advertiser friendly anymore.
I think I only played like 3 seconds of each part, so it's good. All right, so yeah, do you guys have
No, I think that's gonna do it
else?
for tonight's episode.
Yeah.
No. Are you guys doing a Friday night roundup? Josh?
DJ and I, yes, we are.
Nice.
Cool.
And
That's
check
gonna be
that out on our
will-
Facebook page on Friday, as Josh and DJ.
Yeah, like it or we're gonna find you.
Yeah. Go check us out, though. We'll be there. It's going to be DJ and I. We usually try to start the podcast around 7 o'clock Western time. So if you guys can check it out, go ahead and check it out. And DJ also have their Monday show.
Yeah, we kind of had to postpone it for a bit, mainly because, stuff happening in the week. So we should be returning.
Well, good.
Nice.
I'm excited for this weekend's football. I mean, I am kind of bummed that they do the Pro Bowl after the Super Bowl now. I don't like that.
No, they do it before. They do it before
between.
the Super Bowl.
They do it before. I liked it when it was after.
Yeah.
It was after.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So I hope everyone has a good rest of their week.
I want to say, no, but in all seriousness, though, best of luck to everyone's playoff teams, regardless who's still in it. Best of luck. Hopefully, they're good games.
Mm-hmm.
Because these playoffs are definitely better than last year.
Yeah, they're almost every game has been super competitive at some point,
which is good.
I mean,
well, except for the Titan Patriots.
I mean,
the first drive was.
Every game starts 0-0, but not all of them are competitive.
Yeah. So, once again, guys, thank you for tuning in, and we hope to catch you guys again next week on our show, wrapping up the divisional games, and maybe we could talk about who we think were some Pro Bowl snubs this year.
Yeah, we can do that.
Just to lead up into the Pro Bowl. So, hope you guys have a great night, and good show, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
All right.